Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading for the 8th of June 2025 and the following week. The energy around this reading is of the Six of Swords, which is leaving turmoil for peace. And it indicates a peaceful week for you. But also some of you may be traveling because this also means short trips away. So let's look at things in closer detail. Well, the Four of Swords also indicates greater peace. And next to the Knight of Cups, it talks about how you're going to bring this into your life more in the longer term. And it is also the card of meditational practices and finding a way just to sink into peace instantly like that. This also helps with mental health. The moon is and emotional health. The moon is emotions, and strength is a card of health. So there's an opportunity here for you to sort of embrace your passion and energy. It's a golden opportunity that could bring in all sorts of benefits to do with friendships, to do with creativity. These three cards in combination, the Eight of Wands, which is passion, and the Lovers and the Empress, all are about being very creative. And every Gemini I know practically is creative in some field. So it's about making time for this. This is talking about you putting yourself first and maybe having some boundaries or some structure around you so that you can bring these things in. It could also have something to do with the public. These cards are both also about attraction, so there could be someone who you're attracted to, but they are talking here about a long-term relationship that started when you're quite young and it being a very loving relationship. So for those of you who are looking for love, it could be a time where there's an attraction, but it's also indicated that you have these long-term love cards in what is the line of karma, which actually reflects your life. They are saying here, you having a very quick mind, being Gemini, you may be scattering your thoughts in some way. So they're asking you to bring it back to now. What can you create now? And the Page of Swords, another Gemini card, is about analysis. And there seems to be, the King of Swords is, yes, your divine counterpart to do with love, but this is also about some sort of big opportunity that could lead into the long term. And the Ace of Swords is long-term victory. So I'd be making this happen if I were you. It could affect your home. You may need to restructure things, but there's also some sort of opportunity, or the Four of Cups is divine intervention. And even if something hasn't worked before, it's going to work for you. Of course, you do need to rest and recuperate and have fun, and that's what the Five of Pentacles is often about. The Tower is the card of restructuring and rebuilding and renewal. So it's about embracing the unknown in some way too, quite often. So balance is really important. Looking after the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. And also they're talking here about balance to do with family. You do have expertise, some sort of expertise that you can create something out of. The Two of Wands is about creation. It's saying the world is your oyster. What do you want to create? And the Hermit is your area of expertise as well. Both of these cards have a similar meaning in that way. And it's about embracing the change, overcoming any challenges, and it's a call to action. The Seven of Wands is about putting things in place, especially when we get justice with it, that enable you to have time to do these things. And justice also talks about you realizing your potential. As we get older, we sometimes look back and think, oh my goodness, when I was young, I could have done this, this, and this, but I just didn't have the confidence to do it, or I didn't know that I had those strengths. So it's about what at the end of your life will you be happy with having done, and what would you regret either having done or having not done. And this is, of course, is over a long period of time, but really you're being asked that question now, and there are opportunities coming in for you to do with that. So there's quite a few people here coming up in this reading. So it looks like it's not going to be a time where you have a lot of time to yourself. But yeah, I'd make that happen so that you can start to bring some of these things in. You're being asked to be totally honest and truthful to yourself. And these are final tests that you're going through. If you pass these tests, you don't have to go through them again. And so the karmic wheel of your life is turning to a chapter where you're probably going to be juggling two things. And yeah, you may have some opposition. Sometimes this is children, it can be opposition from children. But really, this is leading to greater financial security in some way. But it's not just your conventional job. It's this creative process. It may be something that you started in the past or you've thought of in the past. The Knight of Wands is sometimes this is talking about people coming in from the past, which I think you had last week as well, but also some sort of opportunity coming in from the past to do with your creative talents or what you love to do, what you're passionate about. Yeah, this is the Queen of Wands. She just gets on and does things. And, she has a lot of energy, or even if she doesn't have the energy, she does it. So, but then there are ways to, look after your health and regulate your energy. This is the card of health. And as I said before, and your emotions may be a bit up and down, but there are ways to create this peace that we're seeing, which would greatly affect the emotions. The moon can also talk about dreams and dreams coming up for you to look at. Sometimes dreams are significant, sometimes they just seem to be processing, and some people don't remember their dreams at all. Yeah, there's a lot. This comes up in practically everyone's reading at the moment. The hangman next to an ace. And an ace next to the hangman means that things that have been on hold are now moving ahead. And that you have more choices to do with this. And this is specifically around some sort of change possibly to do with work, because this is a new opportunity next to the tower. So it would mean a clearing out of the old and a new structure being built to do with greater income, but also much greater appreciation for what you do and a feeling of achievement. So it's in the line of karma. So there's no time around this, but because there's no time indicated in the line of karma, but because we've got this Ace of Swords next to the Hangman, it is saying it's your choice. You can bring this in now. And so we've got the Chariot next to the Four of Cups. Fours are home, and the Chariot is moving. So it looks like there's an opportunity for some of you to move, and the move would be very beneficial. And it may be after a period of time of looking where you haven't thought that you'd find something, and then it comes in out of the blue. You do have these friendships. There's a earth sign woman, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, coming back in from the past possibly, or The Six of Cups is someone who's a member of your soul group. So it may be a very close friend. Likewise, there's a group here of people who are members of your soul group. Some of them may be family members too. When we have pentacles and cups together, that indicates family. What is your purpose for being here? Oh my goodness, look at that. Two aces together, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. So yes, you have a role of service in this lifetime to do with helping people, helping the earth, helping creatures. And there's both the Magician and Death are indications of new beginnings. Death is ending of the old, and new beginnings where you start to get more of what you want. It is a little bit like the Tower, but slightly different energy. And that you're stepping onto your path. And it could be talking about modern forms of communication in some way. That can be IT or other forms of communication. And this is all very quick. So when we get the Ace of Wands next to the Ace of Pentacles, it's saying, and the Magician, it's saying, yes, your path is to do with making a difference in the world, but that you will be rewarded financially. It's not that you're going to be just volunteering or just being around people to raise their vibration. And so swords are things happening very quickly. So I'd start to really look at this. It may be something you've looked at for a long time. You know, it keeps coming up for you. The Seven of Swords is things coming up from the past. But the Three of Swords can mean 3 days. So you could really bring this in quickly, especially being Gemini. And you have the capability of working very hard, and you do have a lot of talent and ability to create what you want to do with your work. You may have this is almost like sudden epiphanies or sudden insights that are messages from your higher self. It's your psychic ability and your ability to tune in and trust that. If you have that first thought and that feeling of knowing, then it's true. I use that as my guidance, or I do actually all the time. So, and speaking of guidance, the star is guidance and it's about having goals. And this is a step-by-step plan for manifesting your future. Sometimes when we start something, we have to do it on our own, and you might have a little bit of anxiety around that. But this is a clearing of anxiety. It's the end of a period of worry or fear, the Nine of Swords. So it's moving into this much more positive new beginning to do with planning. When we have goals, when we have some sort of systematic way of bringing something in, we don't go into the worry and the stress. It's just taking that step. So again, the Nine of Pentacles is about, especially next to the Ace of Pentacles, is about your financial security. You know, working hard for it. The Ten of Wands is working for this security, but it's something that you would really want to do. And it's a 5-year plan. They're saying to set up a 5-year plan. Sometimes we can't see 5 years into the future, but it's about looking at it from a long-term perspective. And you may be learning some new skills or honing new crafts over the next 5 years. And this can even mean studying, even some sort of formal study or learning of these skills. So when you're faced with choice, the Two of Swords and any of the tarot cards that have a blindfold on, you have to listen to your intuition. But this could also be getting advice from people who are from different cultures, or having friendships with people from different cultures and backgrounds. So we've got the High Priestess, which is your intuition, next to the Two of Swords. So it's asking you to listen to your intuition to do with making decisions. So let's have a look at some of these oracle cards. I'll put this here. We very definitively have the Magician coming up, which is your reason for being on Earth and your path. This is indicating that you have stepped onto your path, or that you're creating that path. So what is your message from your star seeds? Child of the cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. And that really fits with you listening to your inner voice, your intuition, your psychic ability. And of course, Geminis are very intelligent. So that's rather fitting. And how are you bringing this about? What manifestations are you looking at? When you understand, nothing happens without my having invited it. This is the law of attraction. When you understand the law of attraction, you are never surprised by what occurs in your experience, for you understand that through your own thought process, you have invited every bit of it in. Nothing can occur in your life experience without your invitation of it through your thought. And that's why it's so important to change these old patterns and programs of fear and negativity in our lives. Did fear come up down here? Maybe not. But it's about changing things really from the subconscious mind, which then bubble up into the conscious mind. But these are actually very positive cards. You're thinking in a very positive way. This is the line of thought. And by thinking in this way, you're attracting what you want to bring in. And now we're looking at the Dream Song Oracle. Grow your wishes. Okay, go for it, Gemini. And now the Earth Song Oracle. Wildflower, unplanned joy, serendipity, remain open to unexpected joy. Well, that's on your path, and things improving. Big incremental jumps upwards, the Chariot is. So unplanned joy, remain open to unexpected joy. And of course, the Fool is like a child. And as children, we're born with that joy de vivre. So, I think it's going to be a good week, Gemini. Enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. God bless.